Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 4 of the Upsurge Premier League. We are here today with a matchup between Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade. Already hopping into Champ Select. I am Joe Helmite Silva, joined here today by Robert Sordo Santiago, and let's just go ahead and jump right into things.
Yeah, no, Nico and Pike already taken off the table, and something that we should mention is that Mordekaiser will not be played tonight. So that's also a really big thing that, the red side now doesn't have to ban. They can more focus towards things like Yuumi, like Sivir, and like Katarina. That is a complete target ban towards Drew Dozer.
Yeah, definitely need to be removing that from his pool as he is very, very skilled. That champion plays it a whole bunch, but that is going to be equalized by the Vladimir pick as well. So a couple of bans here targeted towards the mid lane. And now looking to see if the Thresh is actually going to sneak through, as both these teams really do prioritize that pick.
Yeah, no, and the Sivir is going to be taken off as well. That we've seen both Spooky and Kanki both play Sivir, and her being the top ADC in the meta right now, definitely going to be taken off the table. Yasuo also taken off the table, both targeted towards Freeze and Remy, as Aatrox is just going to be insta-locked. Hello.
Yeah, that is a very fast Aatrox pickup there. Really interesting to see that that's going to be so highly prioritized, but FBC wasting no time whatsoever. They are going to pick up both the Aurelia and the Sejuani here for their top side of the map.
Yeah,
Could be
no,
flexing that Aurelia down to the mid, though, obviously.
very good synergy there between Irelia and Sejuani. You get the permafrost off a lot easier, but Morgana Caitlyn immediately taken after T26 has been playing both Thresh and Morgana as of recent. And I mean, if you're not going to ban Thresh, you just take Morgana as a counter pick, and now it becomes kind of difficult for Synotic if he really wants to pick that Thresh, that it's a difficult matchup against the Morgana. But Kaisa going to be hovered here, another top ADC. That's going to be locked in, rounding off the first half of the pick ban.
Yeah, now interesting to note here as well, asynchronous picks as the jungler has been locked for first blood and Dawn is still waiting on it. So I do expect there to be some sort of targeted bans here, as we can see that Olaf is already taken off the board here. And Karma is actually going to be removed from Dawn as well. So trying to target down that support pool.
Yeah, no, Karma getting buffs in this last patch, E cooldown, mana cost down, and the Q slow increase now means that people do have to be more careful of Karma. Same thing with Yuumi, even though she got nerfs in this patch, still a really annoying lane to deal with. Even if you do have the Caitlyn that can heal up with fleet footwork, you still do not want to be facing that, and especially with a Kaisa, who Yuumi can proc so much with, you definitely do not want to be facing that.
Yeah, honestly surprised it made it that far in the draft. Both teams sort of either forgetting Yuumi existed or deciding they wanted something else, but that will be taken off the table at the end of the day. Rounding out the bans is going to be Kindred as well for First Blood, so that will not be up. And their first pick out of the ban phase is going to be Soraka.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick into Morgana. You can always use the silence onto the Morgana. She can't get her ult off, her soul shackles. And I mean, you do have a lot of Q poke with Soraka, so it's not the worst matchup to pick into. And if you just want to protect the Kaisa, it's still really good. But Karthus being hovered here, so that might be a Karthus jungle here with the revert back to his ult, now giving him 75% AP ratio on his ultimate. So he might be jungle now. So lots of flex picks here coming out from Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn does have a lot of options being able to flex these champions around, except hovering on that Azir here would, I think, give a very clear picture of what they're looking to do. Likely put the Karthus in the jungle, as you said, bringing the Aatrox towards the top side. And at the last second,
Okay.
though, oh, no, the bait and switch, they will pick up the Azir here. So very clear picture onto their team, but this is going to mean FBC have a good opportunity to counterpick whichever lane they prefer.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it might be towards that mid lane that Irelia doesn't really want to face Azir. So, I mean, we're going to have to see what they come up with. Right now, Dawn's roster does look pretty good here. They scale really well into that late game. Let's see what FBE is going to come up with. Kassadin. No, Rise. Okay. All right. So, whew, we love to see Rise, especially after all the changes. I personally thought it was going to be really bad, and then I played against it, and yikes. Just 350 damage with 9 AP, by the way. Very fun champion, and does pretty well into Azir. So it's definitely not the worst thing to see here. And now First Blood has kind of secured their late game scaling. That Dawn kind of already had it. They have the Karthus, they have the Caitlyn, they have the Azir. First Blood, they really only had the Sejuani to tank up in the late game and the Kaisa, but now with that Rise, you definitely have a solid AP threat. And I mean, for Dawn, they don't have a tank per se. You have a Bruiser and Aatrox, but that's about it.
Yeah, gonna be a little bit harder for Dawn to get these fights going. They're missing the sort of initiation. And First Blood Crusade, like you're saying, now have some really, really solid scaling damage threats to move forward with. So definitely looking a very good comp. The Rise, I think, really helps round things out for them. But you do have to say Dawn has such a good early game here with their bottom lane.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you have a good top laner in the Aatrox, does a lot of early game damage. You have the early bot lane that if you hit a Dark Binding into the trap, you are going to probably blow up the Soraka or the Kaisa, but you really need to do it pre-6. That if Soraka can get her heal off, or Kaisa can get her killer instinct off, you're most likely going to lose that unless you have Karthusar to back you up.
And that is one of the advantages of that pick, of course, for Rourke here in the jungle is always able to help out his lanes no matter where they are on the map once he hits the level 6. And would expect to see a lot of attention here from Learning Brain down on the bottom side of the map, really making sure that Kanki and T26 can't just push in, take plate after plate, because I think that's really going to be the thrust of the offensive here for Dawn.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, when you pick a passive support in Soraka, mind you, she has poke, but she really just wants to stay back, throw a couple Qs, throw a couple Es. Oh, you're getting low. Let me top you off with some heals, right? Whereas this Morgana, if she hits a binding, it's go time. Like let's send this. You have so much damage from Dawn's bot lane, and especially with someone like Azir who can push into the Rise. That Rise's early game clear did get tuned back a little bit. You do have the potential to get 4-man dove, even 5-man in that bot lane if you're not careful.
Yeah, Zir not necessarily known for his roaming potential, but does have the ability to shove in the Rise, especially early on. He did take the nerf to his starting mana pool. It does sort of limit how much he can sort of spam in the early game. So could be seeing CP Freeze just trying to shove things in and then roam again towards the bottom side of the map, like we were saying. So definitely an opportunity here for Dawn to really flex their muscles with their early game rotations.
Yeah, no, and a lot of this game does depend on Learning Brain and Rorik here. That Learning Brain really does want to be ganking, and I think he's going to be looking towards Wolf Skull Rider here. That with the Irelia, you can get the stun into the ultimate, and same thing with Sejuani here as well. You can stun, you can get the Irelia stun as well, even though her E did receive a bit of a range nerf and a cooldown nerf. It's still not the biggest issue for Irelia. You can still perma CC Remy up there. And I mean, you put an Aatrox behind, he's really not that useful. And for someone with the team composition that Dawn has, you really need your early game to go well, or you're just going to get steamrolled over this by this late game scaling comp.
Yeah, for Dawn will have to make sure that this early game works out for them. They definitely have the picks for it, and they do have some insurance in the late game, I would say. But yes, they are going to want to play for that early game, and I think that could be potential for Rourke to hover around the top side, heading off Learning Brain and making sure that Remy can really get going on the Aatrox, because we've all seen if Aatrox gets ahead, he just takes over a game by himself. You don't even need the rest of the team at that point. So it's sort of an alternate win condition here, floating around in the top side of the map for Dawn.
Yeah, and I mean, you do have a lot of scaling with the Karthus, Azir, Caitlyn. But the issue is you have such a big front line in that Irelia and Sejuani, plus the Soraka heals behind it, that it almost becomes damn near impossible to have a solid team fight when your carries just get blown up. Yes, you have the Azir wall to stop engage, but then after that, you don't have anything else to follow up after. It's just not the best time unless you're ahead. If you can go into the enemy team as Dawn, then you're going to be okay. But if you get engaged on as Dawn, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, a bit of a tricky situation to be in. Really looking forward to seeing Waldrudozer on the rise as well. Obviously, it's only one day after the rework went through, and still feeling comfortable enough to say, yeah, sure, give me the champion. We're going to bring it out. We're going to see if we can make it work, even after all of those nerfs and the mechanics changes happen. So, looking forward to seeing his performance on that channel. Now, we are going to be hopping into a brief intermission before the game starts, but before we go, we do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. They work with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. They have also been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. If you need a new keyboard and more for your setup, we can't recommend anyone better than Kono. Go ahead and check them out, and we will see you guys in the game for game 1 of Dawn versus First Blood. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 1 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade here. Obviously, we do have Dawn over here on the blue side, Remy up in the top lane, Rourke in the jungle, CP Freeze in the mid lane, Kanki down in the bottom lane, and T26 at support.
And now in for First Blood Crusaders, their first game here in the UPL. It's going to be Wolf Skull Rider in the top lane, Learning Brain in the jungle, LOL Drew Dozer in the mid lane Rise, Spooky on Kaisa, and Synotic on that lovely Soraka.
And as we can see, both these teams really don't want to go for any early game shenanigans, adopting the 5-point stance, making sure everything is going to stay safe here for this early game. And I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot here until both the junglers have really had time to get that first back off, maybe get their first items, and then maybe start looking at the lanes here.
And no, definitely could have invaded with the Morgana, but 5-point kind of is the safer option here. You really just want the information on both junglers, and they're going to start on opposite sides. So this does, in fact, benefit Rorark here. Good gold there by Synotic, getting some early gold towards him, trying to finish that quest as soon as possible. But again, it still benefits Rorark at the end of the day that he just wants to avoid Learning Brain for the majority of this game. As long as he can farm up and get towards his breakpoint, hitting those 2 items, then that's where he wants to be. That's where he's like, okay, I'm not in the fight, I'm split pushing, I'm farming, let me just press our great binding there onto Spooky. Does miss a minion for it, so overall still works out fine for him.
Small little edges here could make the difference. Kind of paying him back for the landing the Q early in the game, getting that gold off of Kanki, so... But not too much of an advantage gained so far. But yes, definitely Rourke gonna have to be trying to play this a little bit safer. Just going for that full clear, taking every single camp on his way. And will take a little bit of time for Learning Brain to sort of get towards the top side. And Remy's being pushed in already by Wolfskull Rider, so not a great gank target.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the issue with Irelia versus Aatrox. Aatrox gets his abilities off early, but then, you know, Irelia just pushes into him. And especially since she hit level 2 first, you know, it becomes a very difficult time for the Aatrox to do much of anything up there. So Learning Brain does clear his bot side and just takes the free back and bot side, and is now going to take the free back and go towards the top side, which we've seen a lot of junglers do. They clear one side fully, back, get their jungle item, and then go into the opposite side of the jungle. So, I don't know. It's a really interesting clear. It started out in a Korean solo queue and has now, you know, been adopted here, at least in NA.
Yeah, I believe it's because the Scuttle Crab spawns are so much later in the game, makes a lot more sense to heal up, top up, get some more items, and then go right back into it. So, smart plan, but the Karthus actually still has not backed off. Rourke now hitting the level 4 point with the full clear, goes for the Scuttle Crab, and on the opposite side of the map, nothing to worry about. Bit of a skirmish bottom lane. Some damage traded back, but nothing to speak of so far.
Yeah, that Dark Binding barely missing there. Wolf taking a bad trade here, gets hit with the end of each of the Qs, you know, the part where it does a lot more damage. And even though Aatrox did receive some nerfs to his passive, his Q definitely did not receive any nerfs. So that's just going to be a free 200 damage onto the Irelia, forcing to use yet another corruption stack, which is going to become massive, seeing as the Remy still has yet to use his pot.
Yeah, started the Doran shield, give a little bit more of that sustain in the lane, and so far working out for him. And the longer this goes on, the better the matchup becomes for the Doran's item user. So Remy already with a bit of an advantage here, if not in CS, then in the overall lane. As this will be the Scuttle Crab taken up here by Learning Brain on the top side, and might actually run into Rourke here.
No, and then looking at Dozer right now, just look at that mana, just nothing to talk about here. Does he even have enough to buy tier? Yes, okay. So he has just 850, immediately going to back, get the tier, probably teleport right to mid lane to catch the rest of this wave. As we see Rourke just getting pushed out of the jungle. Wards there, he doesn't have his mid lane.
And actually landed here, heal forced out. This is going to be the Ignite coming through as well. The Flash will be burned. Tormented Soil will not be quite enough here, but that's going to be double Summoner Spells burned for Spooky in exchange for only the Ignite from T26. Great binding.
Now here's the interesting thing. Oh, hello.
Another one lands. This Synotic taking a bunch of damage here. The headshot comes through, but bounces off the barrier. Another Summoner Spell blown for the bottom lane here for First Blood Crusade.
Now here's something pretty interesting as, Learning Brain smiting it away.
Oh, and actually will go all the way in here, try to get the damage off. Rourke will get stunned up. Rourke will take the damage. He's forced to flash away. The teleport will come through from Remy to keep his jungler safe. But the Summoner Spell blown, the Karthus taking a fight he really didn't want to have.
Yeah, close on both sides here. Almost first blood coming out for both teams. But I mean, the thing to note, right, and I wanted to talk about this earlier, looking at the runes from Spooky, right now he has Hextech Flash. Very questionable there. Probably wanted to go with the Biscuits instead, but instead has Hextech Flash.
You know, Hex Flash on Kaisa, that's pretty good, gets you out of danger. Maybe, you know, not very often. Yeah, don't know what the thought process is, but we'll have to see how he uses that as the game goes on. As still right, actually gets pulled all the way back, takes some damage here. But both champions not going for the full trade here, but yeah, so far very close from between these two teams.
Yeah, Infernal Change just pulling her all the way back, and I mean, that's how you want to play if you are Aatrox. Force her into a position where she can't move left, she can't move right, she has to go up. And most likely you're going to just pull her back with the Infernal Chain. But now we're starting to see Rise try to push in just a little bit, get some damage off onto Freeze. Not much to write home about. But, you know, now that Rise has hit 6, this is where the buffs come in. As we see Sejuani coming down.
Yeah, here we go. He's still looking for it. That flash is going to be burned here in addition to the net. Black Shield a little bit late, so that's going to be this. Oh no, the Summoner Spell somehow he got through with the net. Learning Brain was the one to burn the flash.
Yeah, no.
At the end of the day, that's the net Summoner Spell lost for First Blood.
Yeah, that was the Black Shield coming out, so Kenki didn't feel anything, and then he just 50 caliber nets out of there. The Learning Brain trying to get the knockup before the Black Shield came out. Not going to happen here, as we just see the blue buff transfer going over to Drew Dozer. Desperately needing that thing. 1 HP does get it. Alright.
And Drew Dozer starting to look pretty good for him, as this was actually a Dark Seal start here for CP Freeze in addition to the Amplifying Tome. So not going for the early mana, instead really wants to pressure down in lane, but that does mean he's going to be vulnerable to getting shoved into this Rise, now that the Rise has the blue buff and the Tear of the Goddess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, we're starting to see the CS difference in the mid lane come up, but that should equalize out once the Rise, you know, is in lane long enough and is able to CS. But there might be a roam here onto Freeze.
Yeah, here we go. Freeze is going to get stuck between in a bad spot here, but he does manage to get the Shuriba Shuffle Drift out of there, and not a problem. So the Aurelia roams down for no gain.
Yeah, no W coming out from the Rise, not result in anything. Binding does hit onto Sonotic. Nothing going to really come at that, putting him to about 80% HP.
But any damage you can get on the Soraka is good. Keep that heal bank a little drier than it should be. But this is going to be actually the recall now channeled here for Sonotic, leaving Spooky in lane by himself. Nope, that will be canceled out. Going to be trying to stay and catch this.
Yeah, that he does need to hit level 6 here, only sitting at level 5. Did miss a bit of EXP early. They are getting zoned out by T26, and I mean, there's not much that Spooky and Sonotic can do here. Dark Binding is huge, so now all that pressure goes away. And it's kind of the same thing, you know, when you throw out a death sentence with Thresh, and then now you don't have any pressure. Learning Brain sitting towards the top side, trying to do something. Nothing really going to come of it.
Both these teams playing so very safe now. I think after the couple of close calls they had, really taking it easy. Now there is level 6 here on Rourke, so definitely know they
Rise roam.
But here comes the Roam Warp, the Rise is in. Drew Dozer is going to immediately get the root down. T26 trying to run for his life, but First Blood goes over to First Blood Crusade. Kanki's here all by himself, teleport channeled, but I don't know that it was even needed. They give it over to the Rise. Double kill picked up here for Drew Dozer. And all of a sudden, this game breaks open with that roam.
A bit of BM there coming out from Wolf Skull Rider. Just does a recall in front of Kanki. I mean, I like it. I like the initiative. Does give both kills over to the Rise, which is your big late game scaling champion. So I do like that. As Learning Brain takes a bit of damage from Remy, but nothing really to come of it. But yeah, no, clean 2 for O in that bot lane. Rise now getting ahead of the Azir. But I mean, he is down 20 CS, as Remy might be overstaying his welcome here. Learning Brain does have ult. That's the flash forward.
There we go. That's going to be the flash into the ultimate immediately. Remy's going to pop his own, but it doesn't matter. He's stunned so long, gets no value out of it, and goes down. So Learning Brain helping out his top laner pick up that kill as well. And all of a sudden, First Blood Crusade, 3-kill start.
Yeah, no, and now we're seeing the damage of the Rise, gets the W on and immediately starts doing damage. But on the opposite side of the map, the Dragon is going to be started up.
Ooh,
Drew
Freeze, the
Dozer
flash is going to
trying.
be in. Drew Dozer trying to get the kill off, but the cleanse will be burned. But you cannot sleep on this Rise damage. There it is, like you were talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone thought it was a nerf, but it still does a lot of damage. He only has 86 AP right now, mind you. And that's only going to grow. So, I mean, it's something that everyone really does have to be careful of. Sonotic trying to walk up, not going to get much of anything here. But, I mean, this Rise is going to be a monster the later this game goes, and he's already starting to cut into that CS deficit that he built for himself when he roamed bot lane. Freeze not really able to do much of anything. And something else to note is that Freeze went Electrocute instead of Lethal Tempo. So a lot of the early game harass that he could have had is lost. That's a lot of damage on the Spooky.
Wow! The Kaisa gets absolutely bullied there under her own tower. Is able to get out at the end of the day, not burning any thunder spells, but this will be even more pressure generated for the bot side, and so far the plate count, I believe, is in favor here of Dawn.
Yeah, no, but like, is it really that much pressure? You have a Soraka now, she's just gonna heal up. Soraka eats the ace in the hole, and now Spooky's just back up to full HP. We love that. We love Soraka lanes. It's our favorite.
Definitely a very favorite matchup here. She prevents anything from ever happening as Remy's caught out.
Okay.
He's going to get the dash over the wall. Here comes CP Freeze. Drew Dozer is all by himself. He's trying to trade the damage back into Rourke. He takes the kill on Rourke. Pops the Realm Warp, but can't run to safety here. CP Freeze gets Dawn's first kill of the game. But in a 1v2 scenario, you trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, that sounds about like the new Rise. Seems about right. This is just the dive on
Remy. Yet Remy is going to get dove under his own tower. He's trying to sustain through it. He has the ultimate ticking. He gets a little bit more healing, but it's not enough. Triumph keeping him alive, but not for that much longer. Requiem comes down and Rourke finishes that one off as he respawns. Then a Wolf Skull Rider with a really good opportunity to get some more plates and get some more gold under his belt.
Yeah, no. I don't know. That was a very good play. Requiem does pick up the kill here. So, good way to equalize the gold back. They're trying to do something. So.
Yeah, looks like Dawn trying to take down that first tower, but can't get it. It will be Wolf Skull Rider picking that one up, and they have the Rift Herald as well sitting there, I believe, on Learning Brain. So, do have the ability to go for even more plates, get even more of that gold for their team in the next minute or so, if they choose to pop it.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is very interesting. Both teams are just kind of farming it out, but this Rise, though, is very massive, and you saw his power right now. He's still only at 1 item. This might be the play onto bot lane, though.
Yeah, that was going to be the Blast Cone taking over. Spooky Girl is going to go all the way in on T26. He pops the ultimate and the stopwatch to try and keep himself alive. The stun comes through, but there's nowhere he can go. Drew Dozer picks that one up with another Spell Flux. Here comes ultimate from Kanky. Not going to be quite there. And that's First Blood Crusade, still getting these rotations and plays set up in the side lanes.
Yeah, no, just ridiculous damage coming out there from the Rise. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. We were like, oh yeah, you know, it's a nerf to Rise. It's not that bad. You just see the amount of damage he's doing. Going on to Sonotic.
The shot back onto Sonotic. He bit off a little bit more than he can shoot. That last tower shot hits, but he survives. The barrier gets Sonotic out of a mistake. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, barely gets him out there, so whew, that was almost a good chunk of gold going over to the Azir, who I believe has enough gold now. Yeah, sitting on 2k gold, finally able to finish his Luden's Echo and start working towards that Morellonomicon that he really kind of needs, even though low-key he does need some attack speed, as we do get a pause that the top laner for the side of Dawn is lagging, so we will get back. We have a bit of an update, but we do have a bit of time to talk about the state of the game. Dragon's in favor of Dawn here, and we were talking about plates earlier, but right now, top lane is just down for the side of Dawn, and the map kind of opens up now a little bit for the side of the First Blood Crusaders, and now the Aurelia can start making plays towards that mid lane and try to, you know, open up that big mid tower that opens up the rest of the map.
Yeah.
As we get back into the game here. Bit of pressure on to T26 here. Lightning does come out. It's going to be on to Caitlyn here. It's going to be the stun up Wolf Skull Rider. Going to go down to Rorik. Okay, so Helm did DC, so he will be back here in a second. We do see a bit of a team fight here going on. Rorik trying to get some damage down. And I mean, this does help out a bit here. Drew Dozer, that's going to be the cleanse coming out from Freeze. Realm Warp going out here. Freeze kind of in a terrible position, does force the flash out. Rorik is there. They can't continue on to Freeze, can they? Yes, they can. That's going to be Soraka picking up. T26 going to go down as well. Jesus Christ. Drew Dozer just putting out the damage now, sitting at 6-1. What a monster right now. And this is the power of the new Rise. Just doing disgusting amounts of damage. What can you do here?
Absolutely brilliant play. For those of you watching, I will be joining as an interim play-by-play caster, as Helm Knight did have some technical difficulties. I am Audio Adrenaline. So, what an absolute play there by Drew Dozer, showing us what this new Rise can do. And off the back of that play, it is going to be First Blood picking up this Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, no, and I mean, this does equalize the Ocean Dragons out, and welcome to the room. Audio back with the dynamic duo again, doing UPL. Oof, you already know what's up. But no, gold lead pretty much in favor of First Blood here, looking really good in the first game here in the UPL. Drew Dozer putting on a clinic right now, 6-1-1, and I mean, his team knows, that Rise can just carry. Now he's hit level 2 ultimate, and I mean, the damage that he does with Overload is disgusting right now.
It absolutely is, and it's very interesting because after the changes to the Rise, it was seen as an overall nerf, but I don't think anybody told Drew Dozer that, because he's playing it just like it was last patch, just completely dominating. Already has a Seraph's Embrace finished. Plaza Stuart coming out, the World Ender going to be thrown down. The flash away from the Aurelia has to keep herself safe. That's a lot burnt, though, from the side of Dawn. And Aurelia is going to get out. That Soraka is going to heal her right back up.
Yeah, 2 ultimates and a flash just for the flash. Oh, wait, the heal was burned by Spooky to keep Aurelia alive there, so... You know, not the worst thing to come out of it, but still pretty big ultimate to use. Freeze trying to just keep Learning Brain off of the ward.
He's not able to get it.
I know. And I mean, again, we talked about it earlier in the fact that Freeze has Electrocute and no attack speed ring. It is...
Learning Brain is just struggling trying to clear out this vision here. Entire team is working
just want some vision, man. Just want a ward.
Clear the ward.
Like, come on. You don't gotta be like that.
Well, now 18 minutes in. Baron is not quite yet on the table, but it will be spawning soon. You can see the entirety of First Blood Crusade is kind of walking around this river, now teaming up to clear these wards because they know that the rest of Dawn is going to fight for them tooth and nail. On the bot side is here. Turret put down to dissuade Drew from pushing any further. Silence gonna come out. Learning Brain might be looking. Preemptive black shield there from the... Oh, the Shirima shuffle, though. Push it through Dozer under the turret. But it could be Freeze biting up a little bit more than he can chew as Drew Dozer turns it around for the solo kill.
Yeah, no, I mean, right now, for the side of Dawn, you can't really match Drew Dozer. This Rise is just way too strong. 700 gold bounty on his head. But he's already at 2 items and is sitting on, take a look, he's sitting on 2k gold right now. Like, the man is a complete monster, so you can't really contest him. And I mean, for the side of Dawn, they're losing their early game, which is what they need. Like, they needed to win this early game, and right now they are just completely getting outclassed.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea from Freeze. You know that down here in this bottom lane, you're just bleeding bleeding turrets, you're bleeding farm into this Rise. So with his turret from his passive being up, he at least went for the low percentage play. It didn't work out though. If Drew Dozer didn't have flash, it might have been a different story. But I like to see that Dawn isn't mentally checked out of this game yet.
No, they're still trying. And I mean, though the kills say a lot here, it's only a 4K gold lead. And I mean, a majority of that lead is on Drew Dozer. The other bit of it is on Wolf Skull Rider, but you do have a lead in the bot lane, even though it is only 400 gold. So I mean, you just work off of that and hope to God that you can go from there. I mean, 500 gold lead in favor of the Karthus. Rorik still farming up very well. Does have good kill participation here. Has 100% for his team. So, I mean, you do kind of just have to play off of that. And hope to God that you can just, you know, stabilize the game a little bit. Maybe get that shutdown on Drew Dozer. But it doesn't really look like that's going to happen, because now you have Learning Brain just hovering around him. And Baron is still secure, even though Learning Brain is on the bot side.
We're certainly in a raid boss situation. Drew Dozer is the one to take down. If he is going to fall, then a fight starts to look like it could be winnable for the side of Dawn. But as long as that Rise is on the map, as long as he is in these fights, things are looking bleak. The entirety of the team now roaming down here. Vision is very dark for the side of Dawn. They have to be careful. Dark is going to Learning Brain going to continue to clear that vision out. Rorik still not finishing that second item, is now level 11, so we'll have access to the second rank of Requiem. But with this vision control that First Blood has created, they're just going to go and turn on the dragon once again.
Yeah, no, dragon definitely being the objective here. 3 ocean dragons this game, though.
So nice for the Rise.
Yeah, no, the Rise now can just sit in a side lane. It doesn't really matter. Even though, you know, both teams would have liked to see the Infernal Dragons and the Mountain Dragons come out, especially when you have a Kai'Sa and a Rise. But Ocean Dragons are still very nice here, as this gold lead continues to grow in favor of First Blood Crusaders. And I mean, we look at Dawn Esports, right? And we look at how they've played over the past 3 weeks. They took a game off of Supernova, and it was just a 40-minute back-and-forth fight. But then every other game that they have lost, that they've yet to win a game this season, or a series, better said, this season. But every game they've lost, they've kind of just gotten smashed out in that early game, even though they're the ones to pick an early game composition. And we're kind of seeing one and the same. So unless this game drags out to 40 minutes, it kind of becomes now questionable for the side of Dawn Esports.
Yeah, that is the saving grace there from Dawn. They had the strong early game leads, but their mid game is just nowhere near where it needs to be to contest for these objectives. And you kind of have to hold out that you're gonna hit that 40-minute mark. Once they get there, they're gonna be a force to reckon with things like the Karthus, the Azir, and the Caitlyn. But it's the fact of getting there that it is going to be such an uphill battle for this squad. And you have such behemoths like a 7-in-1 Rise standing in your way.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, Rise outscales all of them in this sense. You know, even though you have Karthus with, you know, an ultimate that can do 1,000 damage, yeah, Rise does that with, you know, half his combo. By the way, fun times, right? So, for the side of Dawn, they picked an early game composition that's supposed to spike in this mid game, but right now they're sitting really far behind, almost 5k gold. So, it's kind of a sticky situation.
Is on the table, 23 minutes into the game. Learning Brain, clearing out vision. Wonder if First Blood is going to start this one up. The rest of the team is looking for something. Dawn Esports want to find a way into this pit. But you have Wolfskull in the bottom lane, had to teleport available. He's pushing up onto the inhibitor turret. It's just going to be the two-man duo starting up this Baron. It'll be slow, but Dawn has no idea what's going on. There comes the blue ward. They know what's happening now. Udoza uses Grubwork to get in. There's a teleport from the Aurelia. Going to be answered with the Aatrox. The Soraka that might be called out. Requiem being channeled. Well. The Baron falling very low. That's going to be First Blood securing the objective, but can they get out afterwards? Wolfskull Rider is going to be blown up. Smokey goes into the back line with the ultimate to try to find another one. Rise is gonna fall. Raid boss down. Is now Freeze caught in the pit. There's 3 members of First Blood just surrounding him, but he's looking for more. He's able to find a triple kill.
Okay.
Freeze is just turning this around. There's the Quadra. Can he get the Penta? Learning Brain is so low. I don't think Azir has the mobility to catch up to the Sejuani. And although First Blood get the Baron, Dawn gets so much back on the backhand.
Yeah, I know that puts them really back into the game, closing the lead that was approaching 6.5K down to about 5. And with that mid tower as well, this is going to be massive for them right now. Azir going to be able to solo that out and just Shurima shuffle his way on out of here.
Absolutely will. And we were talking about how Druidos are just so far ahead. Well, Freeze just got a quadra kill. He is now only 1,000 gold behind Druidozer. So Dawn finally have a raid boss of their own.
Yeah, no, I mean, this game is starting to become a bit closer, and the late scaling champions, especially this is Azir, is starting to scale up pretty well right now.
He absolutely is. You gotta hope that he'll be able to actually win these fights for them though, because around these objectives like the Baron and the Elder Dragon spawning about 10 or so minutes, these enclosed areas, just hold that thought, Remy pops the World Breaker, looking for Kaisa, lands the first few W's, not gonna find its target. So Spooky will just use the ultimate to go over the wall. Will stay safe for now. We see Wolf Skull Rider returning to that solo lane. Doesn't have a teleport available, but should get this tier 2 turret regardless. Is going to take that one down, and now Dawn is looking to grab an objective of their own, as the dragon is going to be spawning here in just a few seconds. Azir holding the wave in the mid lane, making sure he doesn't get pushed up. Aurelia, though, she is on the flank. She's behind the team. Here comes the realm more. Spooky, though, just gets the lead in. There in the mid lane, Freeze is going to Shurima shuffle away from that one. The cleanse get up the Sejuani ultimate. Now Dawn is looking for the re-engage. Druidos are putting out a lot of damage, but there goes Learning Brain. Aurelia is able to shut down Freeze. That's the big member of Dawn missing from this fight now. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 traded for them. But an immense amount of damage is starting to come out from this Azir.
Yeah, no, Rise, I mean, like,
laying on a nice binding land onto the Aurelia. Now Remy going in. One more attack, but it's going to be Wolf Skull is taking him down. A double kill for the Aurelia as he turns around that fight. Now Druidozer, the dragon is going to be smited away, but the Rise is looking for the kills.
He's looking for blood right now. This Rise is doing a lot of damage. You were saying, ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Got a
barrier
little bit
is
scared there.
Yeah, but I mean, this Rise is massive right now. You're talking about the Azir. The Rise is now at 4 items, finishing that death cap off. My God, he's going to do disgusting amounts of damage right now. This is not going to be a fun time for,
So a little bit
excuse
of a
me,
stat
Dawn.
check. That Rise sitting at exactly 666 ability power.
Huh. Listen here, buddy. That's gonna do a lot of damage here. Still has a gold bounty on his head. And I mean, now is where things start to scale up. The Sejuani finishing up her Knight's Vow, going towards the Locket. It's going to be very difficult to kill Learning Brain here. And I mean, unless Freeze can pull out the miracle play, it's going to be a rough time for Dawn, even though they're still coming back in, kills and gold.
Absolutely. They have shown some signs of life, though, and that's what we were really looking for. They were starting to bleed these objectives all over the map. The double TP split push, the 1-3-1, all of the dragons were going in favor of First Blood. Now, finally, they have a win condition to work with. They have Freeze, who has shown to be very strong in these fights, and we have a much more competitive game on our hands.
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, I still want to see Azir get some attack speed, though. That if he can just get those auto attacks off with his soldiers, it is not going to be a fun time for First Blood Crusaders. As we see the fight over Vision here, that's going to be the Banshee's Veil pop from Drew. But I mean,
going down, the rest of First Blood Crusade is looking at this inhibitor turret. Bot laner, surprised they have their eyes on. Freeze finds a good chunk of damage onto Spooky. Just that one auto attack from the soldier, doing about 300 damage.
See, the thing is, there's so much wave clear from Dawn that there's just nothing that First Blood can do here. They have to go towards that Baron, they have to get it, and then push from there. That the wave clear coming out from Freeze, Rorark, and Conkey is just way too much, and they can't get into the base specifically.
Absolutely, you can. It's sort of the reverse siege comp that we see here. Normally, you think of Caitlyn, you think of sieging the enemy turrets, putting down traps. Same can be said when you're defending your turrets, as the traps going down, the bindings coming out so hard to actually push in. Teleport going to be challenged from the Aatrox. They want to defend this turret. The ultimate back from the Aurelia. Remy popping the World Ender, learning Braid. Spraying the target. He is going to go in. A nice flash onto Freeze. But the Aatrox go down before he can get the revive. And now it's Druidozer tearing through the fight. That's the damage you were talking about. That's the insane amount of ability power this man has. And he just completely obliterates the entirety of the team.
Yeah, that's just a clean ace coming out from First Blood Crusaders, and that's most likely going to be the game. They do have the minion wave bot lane. Death timers are long enough, and yeah, this is most likely just going to be the game number 1 going over to First Blood Crusaders.
And what a game number 1 it is. First Blood Crusaders came out swinging off the backhand of Druidozer. A beautiful performance showing us what this new Rise can do. And they are going to take this series 1-0 as the Nexus is going to fall just in time for Dawn to respawn and watch the game slip out of their hands.
Yeah, 31 minutes in. A good victory there coming out from First Blood Crusaders. Even though around that, 24-minute mark, they did throw their lead a little bit, that it did stay 10-3 for the longest time. For Druidozer just popping off 13, 2, and 6. Perfect CS, better than that at this point. 344 CS in a 31-minute game. Just playing it immaculately. And for the side of Dawn, I kept calling them Drew, I feel like. But for the side of Dawn, they drafted a very early game orientated team, and their early game, nothing happened. They tried to do things in the bot lane, didn't work out. They tried to do things with Remy. Remy got caught, he died. Rorick, he farmed, cool. Didn't really output the damage that he needed towards that game, that mid-late game. So, the only good thing that came from it was Freeze, and even in that last team fight, he did go really deep to try to use that Emperor's Divide onto Wolf Skull Rider. But, it's an Irelia, You can just flash Q out, and, what are you going to do from there?
Well, definitely a great performance there by First Blood Crusaders. Now, really quick before we go into our break, going into Game 2, what is Dawn going to have to do in order to keep this series going?
There's not much. From their past games, the games that they've won, they draw out the game later on. They have a tank. So unless they draft a very standard team comp with, a bruiser in the top lane, tank in the jungle, damage dealer, and, an actual support, it becomes kind of shaky when you draft something like this where you have a bruiser, you have an AP carry in the jungle, and then you have 2 carries and then a Morgana as your support. You kind of put yourself in a bad position because you're going to get outscaled inevitably. And even though this game went 31 minutes and now it's, closer towards in favor where Dawn likes to be, you just still get outcomped and outscaled.
All right, well, we've heard what Dawn needs to do. Will they be able to take it out? Find out after our short break. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 of Dawn versus First Blood Crusades is coming up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the cast. We are here in Champs Select for Game 2 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade. I am back. Thank you, everybody, for your patience with all of the technical things we had going on in the last cast, but we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and talk about Champs Select, shall we?
Yeah, no, Pike, Vladimir, Aatrox, Nico taken off. I mean, that Aatrox ban, kind of interesting. Dawn doesn't want to play against it because they first picked it last time. Even though it was kind of underwhelming, the Aatrox, the Aurelia kind of just, ran that over. And that's, there it is. The Aurelia taken off the table. They definitely do not want Wolf Skull Raider on that again. And there's the Respect ban coming out. The Rise taken off. Drew Dozer having a monster of a performance on that. But Sivir and Sejuani going to be locked in as the first pick. Sivir especially, we've seen for the side of Spooky, he has been playing Sivir quite a bit. And, being a top tier ADC, you're definitely going to want to take that up. And man, these picks are going by fast.
Yeah, same as last draft. Both these teams really know what they want and what they don't want to play against. On not hesitating with that Rise ban. This will be FBC already picking up a whole bunch of power picks here with the Sivir, Olaf, and Yuumi, giving that Olaf all of this speed he needs to get into the fights. Dawn, meanwhile, really starting to assemble more of a traditional composition here. They have the Sejuani this time around. They have the Soraka this time around, and the Yasuo as well is their pick potentially for the top or mid lanes.
Yeah, no, we saw Faker today playing Yasuo in that mid lane. So, people got to bring it out now. Going to be locked in as we do round out the first half of the pick ban with Soraka. We are waiting on that on the first ban, the second phase coming out. Dawn still needing to pick up an ADC. So they do have to be careful. Cannon going to be taken off the table. So that might be a Yasuo top.
Yeah, definitely an option here, trying to remove that from the pool. And now, First Blood Crusade, I do expect them to start banning out all of the AD carry picks. I would expect to see Caitlyn and Kaisa both probably taken off the table, as they're usually the high-tier picks you think of when you go to AD carries here. But we'll have to see what they prioritize. They may want to look for potentially better matchups for their solo lanes. And that looks like that will be the strategy they opt for, as the Azir is removed from the game.
So, it's interesting to see that taken off, that yes, Freeze did have a good performance on Azir, but I mean, the moment the Rise hit, tier, he started to lose a lot of pressure. And there are a bunch of champions still in the meta that, have the same effect as that. It's kind of interesting to see the Azir, I guess, kind of just to respect the fact that Freeze had such a good performance. Camille taken off as well. So this points towards Yasuo top, but I don't want to say that it is. Orianna also taken off. First Blood definitely want to shorten the pool of Freeze just a little bit here.
Yeah, now it does make sense for Dawn here to pick an AD carry, like I was just about to say. They started hovering the Xayah to try and really save that Yasuo for last and say, where is this pick going to go? You have no idea. We get to choose where we want to counter pick this matchup. So, but getting the early bans off the table, just in case First Blood do try to pick up counter picks in both of their solo lanes, does make a whole lot of sense here. And Dawn actually will answer with the Ezreal as well. So a very inactive bottom lane, I guess I'll say. Soraka Ezreal not really able to get that much going on, but a safe one, and one that will be very difficult, I think, for the Olaf to get anything on going on to.
Definitely a 180 coming out from Dawn. They had that aggressive lane in the Caitlyn Morgana, and now going with a very passive lane in Soraka and Ezreal, but Jace going to be locked in. That's most likely going over towards Wolf Skull Rider, that he has played quite a bit of Jace over the season thus far.
Yeah, is going to have that very powerful pickup, can be flexed around, but the Syndra here at the very end will tell us that is going to be the Jace in the top side of the map. Syndra going to be holding down the mid lane here, and very interesting composition for First Blood, as they've kind of adopted the all damage, no tank build that Dawn was playing in the previous game.
I mean, they do have the Olaf for a front line. He doesn't really care about the Sejuani ult, doesn't care about the Soraka silence, plus her root afterwards. And depending who they pick mid lane, he won't care about their CC either once he has the Ragnarok. So it's not that bad of a pick. And Vigar Hello.
Wow. The Vagar pickup here at the very end for Dawn. They will be locking in the Tiny Master of Evil. I think he is quite good, but actually looking at the chat here, that is not actually a Vagar pick. That is the Zoe pick. So can't get too excited, but Zoe, have not seen that in quite a while now.
No, and I mean, it's not that bad of a matchup into Syndra. Yes, Syndra can predict where the Zoe's going to be. She can just use Scatter the Weak into the ultimate afterwards. But again, Zoe, such a strong champion regardless. And I mean, personally, one of my least favorite champions to play against. She gets summoner spells, then uses her W autos. It's just, whew, so much damage. Plus, if she hits the Sleepy Trouble bubble, it empowers everything else to do true damage. Then you have the Paddle Star doing 700 damage behind that. And then you're like, all right, well, I had a fun time playing the video game, even though I'm not playing right.
Yeah, definitely can be a troublesome champion to deal with, but we'll have to make sure they're landing their skill shots. And this does give Dawn a very nice poke composition here with the Ezreal and the Zoe, really able to put out some damage from a range. And First Blood don't have that many good initiation options other than run directly at them with our damage and hope that we do enough. They do have the Yuumi to help enable the Olaf. We kind of mentioned that early on with On the Hunt, speed the Olaf in, use the Yuumi ultimate on top of that, maybe get some stuns down, but Dawn have some pretty nice peel back. They have the ability to poke champions down from a range, and this is looking like a much more flexible composition from Dawn this time around.
Yeah, and thinking about it, it's very interesting to see the fact that First Blood ended up picking Yuumi into the Yasuo. That one of their engaged tools is the final chapter coming out from Yuumi, but then it gets Windwalled. Same thing with Syndra afterwards, picking it, after the Yasuo was already picked up, right? So her ultimate is just going to be stopped by Windwall. So very interesting to see that come out. We'll have to see how First Blood can play around this. So that again, Sivir should just be pushing into this Ezreal Soraka, and as long as they do have vision of where Rorark is throughout the game, he should be fine, and it'll allow the Sivir just to get to 3 items and do a hell of a lot of damage throughout this game.
Yeah, now I do want to highlight Rourke's pick here as well, because I think the Karthus in the last game, it's probably fair to say, didn't have the impact on the game that Dawn were looking for, was very passive, just farming it out, really taking time to get going, and didn't give them what they wanted. This time around, though, with the Sejuani, there's a lot more playmaking that Rourke can make. Obviously, he's a little bit more constrained because of the Olaf pick here for First Blood Crusade, but he does have the ability to go for something early on, to go for the aggressive ganking plays, and really get his team off to the races. So definitely a good flex pick here for Rourke, and I am looking forward to seeing how he can handle this Sejuani pick.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it's a huge change of pace going from that Karthus to the Sejuani. Now you're more intent on ganking than you are just sitting there and farming and pressing R on Karthus. So a lot of this game does ride on him. If he can get the Yasuo ahead, especially against someone like a Jace, and have side lane priority, then you set yourself up for a good game. But if this Yasuo does get behind and Jace is allowed to just free push the side lane, it becomes quite a bit of an issue for the side of First Blood, or for the side of Dawn.
And I think that's the biggest thing we do want to highlight here for Dawn Esports as well, is that most of these lanes are going to be losing lanes. The Sivir, as you mentioned before, is just going to be pushing Dawn in constantly. You have the Olaf, which is going to beat out the Sejuani early. The Jace is going to have an advantage into the Yasuo early. These are all going to be losing lanes for Dawn, and they really do need to spend some time to scale up. I do think they have the scaling edge here. The Jace, Olaf, they're not going to be quite as good in the later stages of the game, but Dawn are going to get hammered early. And if that translates into a similar performance from First Blood Crusade as they had in the previous game, where they got ahead and just snowballed in with all of their damage into an easy win, then Dawn might have picked themselves into a bit of a corner here.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, the way that they won against Supernova is by, scaling into that 40-minute time frame and then going from there. So, I mean, like, they're playing to what they've won on before. So as long as they can scale up, Vigar infinitely scaling AP, Ezreal does ridiculous amounts of damage towards that mid to late game. So as long as Dawn can scale up, they should be fine.
Now remember, that is a Zoe pick. I'm confused too
Or
because
oh
we got the
no, it
Veigar
is.
staring back at us, but that is the Zoe pick.
You're right.
But that does mean though it still scales very well. Don't get me wrong,
Yes.
but it does mean that Dawn's wave clear also isn't that great. You have the Ezreal, which he has to fire individual mystic shots to try and pick off minions. The Zoe does have a little bit of wave clear on their side, but Dawn doesn't have the ability to just kind of shove waves easily and safely with somebody like the Syndra can from First Blood Crusade. So they do still have opportunities to try and scale up, especially once First Blood Crusade's champions start kind of falling off as the game progresses. They have a chance to really make it go the distance and get those 40-minute games that you were talking about, that's how they win. But they don't have a lot of tools to really help them get to that stage of the game. So Dawn, I think, will really have to play smart this game. Make sure they know where First Blood Crusade are trying to press their advantages. Make sure they know exactly what's going on at all times. Keep tabs on the Olaf, and that's how they're going to be able to get that sort of scaling underway, as you said, because again, those are the games they win.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, we'll have to see what will happen as we finally get the people getting into the champion select. But I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. But I guess we're gonna throw it to a quick intermission, Helm.
Yes, we are going to be taking a brief intermission. We've talked about this draft about all we possibly can, so we will just cycle through this as quickly as we can. But before we go, I do want to make a quick plug for Scuttle Scrims. If you're looking for a way to find fast, reliable scrims for your team, Scuttle Scrims is your new best friend. It's a reliable and easy application that allows you to quickly search for active teams of all ranks and skill levels that are looking for reliable practice partners. Simply log in, search your specified rank, and request a scrim. For more information, visit their website at scuttlescrims.com. We will leave this up for the remainder of the draft and then be hopping into a quick intermission. But when we come back, we'll have game 2 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 2 of First Blood Crusade versus Dawn Esports here. Dawn down one game so far in the series, really looking to bring it back with a very interesting composition here. A lot of poke, a lot of champions they took from First Blood Crusade, and we'll have to see if that's enough to get them the W here and bring us to a Game 3.
Yeah, no, definitely. And for First Blood Crusade, I mean, this is their first series here in the UPL. So they do have to adopt the record of, what was it, Semantics, or was it
Semantics.
Yeah. So they do have to adopt the record of Semantics, which is 1 and 2. But they still do have a pretty solid chance of making the playoff. So, I mean, we saw how good Drew Dozer was last game. And now it's just, can they keep it up this game? You have Spooky on Sivir, best ADC in the game by far. You have the Yuumi as well to protect her. But like you were saying, the only real thing that First Blood Crusaders can do is run at them. You put the Yuumi on to Learning Brain, and you final chapter and hope to God that Remy forgets that he has a W.
Yeah, now, to be fair though, the W is very impactful, but the question is, there are a lot of good things for him to try and for him to try and wind wall here. Sorry, he has obviously a lot of the Syndra poke. He can spell shield the Sivir wave clear. He can spell shield the shock blast, but he only gets it once. And once the wind wall is done, he no longer has that option. So it's going to be an interesting mind game here to see when Remy pulls the trigger on it, and then to see if First Blood Crusade pull the trigger and immediately go in.
Yeah, no, because the other part of it is you have unleashed power from Syndra as well. And as the game continues, that is going to do a lot of damage, especially to the team of Dawn here that do have a lot of squishy people. And if you're able just to one-shot T26, that's a lot of the team fight that just goes away. That is basically, you know, 3 health bars combined into T26 here. Once you get towards that mid to late game with her ultimate, with the W coming out over and over and over again, you know, if she just gets deleted off the face of the map, then what you gonna do from there?
Yeah, gonna be key to kill T26 immediately, and they have a lot of ways to do it. The Syndra unleash power, like you were saying, or even just the Olaf running at the Soraka and hitting her with her damage. No one can stop him during the ultimate, is able to just get in, and we can kind of see already, though, so much poke here in the bottom lane, the Yuumi doing Yuumi things, but the Sivir as well, really starting to chunk out tanky in T26.
Now here's the thing, Learning Brain right now is stealing the blue buff of Rorik, and he's going to successfully steal it. That Rorik tried to do the cheeky thing where you clear all of top side and then back come into your bottom side. But the thing is, you're facing an Olaf. He loves to be at low HP, and even at this case, he's at full HP right now, so he doesn't care. He's going to get the Scuttle Crab on the bot side. He still has all of his top jungle, plus the top Scuttle Crab. There is just nothing that Rorik can do here, and he's already getting put behind by quite a bit.
Yeah, Rorik going to have to scavenge what camps he can. Not having the double buffs is going to be a huge disadvantage, and it looks like he's also going to miss both the crabs. But actually, here we go. Wolfskull Rider taking a ton of damage here. Learning Brain is going to be coming up, but he's not going to be there quite enough. Remy flashes in, and Remy takes first blood there in the 1v1. Very nicely played by the Yasuo.
Yeah, Wolfskull tried to push Remy towards the upcoming Olaf, but I mean, he was way too low of HP. Didn't have flash, and I mean, that's just a free kill over to Remy. Now Remy is sitting on 1300 gold now, and I mean, he's gonna be able to back, either get Berserker Greaves or just get Zeal straight up, and that's gonna be terrible for Wolfskull Rider, already in a pretty difficult matchup.
Guys, actually, here we go.
Freeze also.
Learning Brain's gonna find CP Freeze, who immediately flashes the wall. Learning Brain getting another summoner spell, a bit more of a successful gank than his last one.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, that's a big summoner out. Even though Freeze can get flashes and all these other things from other champions, it's still good to get her actual flash out and off for at least the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, now it does have the teleport as well. Lots of teleports in this game, so it will be important to track when and where these used, as they're on both the 80 carries, both of the top laners, and CP freeze as well. So we definitely need to keep a look, because we could see another play like First Blood Crusade did previously, where you send everybody down towards the bottom side to try and pick up that first kill.
Now, the thing is, Ezreal is still staying pretty even in CS with the Sivir, which is massive for him right now.
It's actually here we go. Topside, Still Rider's going to get caught up by Rourke. The knockback will come through, but the tornado is going to land. Remy's going to go all the way in. Still Rider just decides, maybe I can trade back some damage, but no, maybe I can live instead. He does have the Skull Crab. Flash has to come through from Rourke, but that is going to be the kill pick up here. Remy gets 2, and Remy is looking real scary on the Yasuo.
I mean, this is what we talked about in the pregame, right? Rourke on that Sejuani needs to be ganking towards Remy. If Remy can make this Jace useless, then he can just push top consistently and have that split pushing threat. Jace wants to be the one split pushing, wants to be the one winning the 1v1s, but if you take that away from him, he's really just a poke champion. He's a discount version of Ezreal, and definitely not as good.
Yeah, and the biggest thing too, we talked a lot about it. First Blood Crusade, they need to win early. They need to be able to get their damage going, to get their composition ahead. And the Jace already going down 0-2 to the Yasuo is a huge disadvantage to be at when you're really placing a lot of your effort here on the early game.
And you definitely don't want to be behind if you are First Blood Crusade. You still do have quite a bit of scaling with the Sivir, with the Syndra. And, you know, Olaf will eventually just run through people. But having your Jace behind is definitely a big no-no. Good E by Wolf Skull does avoid getting last breath by Remy.
Yeah, very nicely done. Is able to time that Thundering Blow perfectly in order to stay alive. But you can already kind of see the struggle, and Jace isn't supposed to struggle like this ever in the top lane. He's supposed to be the one who makes other champions have a bad time, but he's the one in this situation getting a bad time to himself. So would expect to see Learning Brain try to spend more time topside, but instead the early Infernal Drake will be picked up here for First Blood Crusade. A little bit of a consolation prize, giving up 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It gives back a little bit of the stats that they're going to be losing because of this gold deficit. And I mean, will eventually help the Sivir towards the late game. So not a bad Drake to have spawn first. The next one is yet another Infernal. And I mean, with the Sivir continuously pushing into the Ezreal, it's going to be really good for First Blood, and they're probably going to have priority on it. Now, the thing that I realized here, good memes, is NA Jace, because right now this is really looking like an NA Jace. Not going to lie to you.
This is exactly how NA Jace goes, and the Yasuo looks like this time around, speaking of memes, is winning the coin flip. But here we go, and Druido's in the mid lane here. He will get the knockback from the Scatter of the Weak. Forced to flash away at the end of the day. Learning Brain is here, looking for the Axe Toss, but won't decide to go in on it. So Summoner Spells blown, both of them for Druidozer.
I know, and that's massive. Next time that Sejuani has the ult up, it's definitely going to be just run towards the mid lane and get that off on Druidozer. He has nothing. But yet another blue buff steal coming out here. This is really looking terrible. Remy putting in some damage though.
Yeah, Remy really...
Wait, they didn't get the blue buff.
Steal? No, the blue steal was not completed. It looks like there was enough of a response, and First Blood Crusade got cold feet, decided they didn't want to go for it at the end of the day, so that will be a blue potentially handed over to CP Freeze, easing his troubles in the mid lane.
I know. Oh, yet another dive here.
Wolf Rider, the knockup is there, and the Blast Breath is in. Wolf Skull Rider will be able to be disguised to safety, possibly. Remy taking a bunch of damage. He's forced to flash away. Wish comes through to keep alive a little bit longer. Rourke now taking up the tower. Remy, though, picks it up with the last tornado. It goes up to 3-0 on this Yasuo. Excellent dive.
Yeah, no, great ult coming out from T26 saves Remy there. And now the plates begin to come out. Yasuo gonna take the back here.
Oh, but here we go. They are going. Counter final chapter is going to be burned. The Olaf is trying to get the damage through, but Sonotic is already dead. The Olaf is going to go down as well. A double for Kanki. He's trying to finish it off. He will go down, but he does pick up the triple kill. No, T26 steals it, but that was a 3v2 dive, and everybody died except for Soraka.
Yeah, I don't really know what First Blood Crusaders is doing. Maybe they handed off the controller, kind of doing the little brother thing, where it's like, oh yeah, no, it was someone else playing. Because right now, this does not look like the First Blood Crusaders that played last game. So we see Wolf Skull. Oh my goodness.
Skull Rider finally does get the knockback here. Gets out safely, but you can already see the struggle here, like you said, from First Blood Crusaders. They set up a terrible dive on the bottom side. They get absolutely annihilated. Everybody dies. Remy now is really showing off on his Wolf Skull Rider, but Learning Brain is there, but Minion Wave allows him to just dash to safety. Ooh, isn't Yasuo frustrating?
You gotta love that part of Yasuo. Just, oh, there's a Minion Wave behind me. Let me just yoink on out of here. It's all good. Right now, sitting up 23S against Wolf Skull Rider. Infernal Drake spawning in about...
Oh, hello. Again. Rourke is going to dash in. He is going to get the Drowsy off. The Cinder will be asleep. They're all closing in. The Redemption is going to do enough damage, but Remy now goes on the rampage. Learning Brain trying to run away with his special package. Looks like the heal will be burned from Sonata to get them both to safety, but Rourke is really turning it up this game.
Yeah, no, all over the map. Definitely a change of pace from last game. Last game, Remy kind of just got dumpstered by Wolf Skull on the Irelia. And I mean, there's Final Chapter.
Final Chapter gets used. Looks like the Olaf is here, though. Still Nick forces flash away, but Zox going to come through. They're trying to get the damage down. The Olaf is not tanky enough, though. He dies. Teleport is channeled. Remy is there. Spooky will try to run away here. Remy might want to go underneath the tower. And yes, he will use the Yasuo. He doesn't matter. 1v5, but no. He misses his damage. T26 picks that one up, but now Sonata has popped off. The cat is alone under the tower. Remy's looking for it. He gets the knock up. He gets the damage through it. Wit enough to get the Yasuo to safety here. 3 more kills picked up for Dawn, and all of a sudden, this is such a 180 from the last game.
Yeah, no, I mean, they played just so well. They played towards Remy, and Remy is the one parrying them. So, I mean, this is just terrible. Wolf Skull Rider getting destroyed. Drew Dozer definitely not having the same game that he had last game. But, I mean, given the circumstances of him just getting 3-manned in that mid lane, what can you really do? Free's gonna be handed off. Blue buff already sitting on quite a bit in her pocket. 1,600 gold to spend. And right now, to the side of Dawn, oh no.
Found out. Spooky is bursted down. Tanky taking that one, and terrible position to be here. And what does First Blood Crusade do to bring this game back?
Hope to God that that Dawn mess up.
Yeah.
There's not much that can be
actually
done.
is here. Trading back on the Remy pretty nicely here, but irrelevant. Dragon goes down as well. Drowsy lands. Is going to be cleansed out. Freeze looking for this one. Remy is going to get the knockback, but he's all by himself. He should finally go down for some juicy shutdown gold, but he takes one with him. And now Freeze is trying to finish off the skill to Wolf Skull Rider. Needs one more auto attack, and he will get it. 2 of 14 now the kill score. The gold lead ballooning up to 6,000 in favor of Dawn.
Yeah, plus the Rift Herald is going to go over to the side of Dawn as well. This is not what you want to see if you are Blood. Yes, you do kill the Yasuo finally, but it's just not worth it at this point. 6k gold deficit at 13 minutes. Seems damn near impossible to come back from. Again, the Jace so far behind, and you really needed him to scale early. Sivir on, or Spooky on Sivir gets caught out twice and is now sitting at 1-3. Just overall, not a good game from anyone here on the side of First Blood, and they're gonna have to rethink how they pick and what they're doing right now. They're still in this game, but I don't know for how much longer.
The First Blood Crusade, just about everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for them. They try to get the Herald and it's stolen away. They give up the 2 Infernal Drakes early, because isn't that how it goes? The Infernal Drakes only spawn when you don't have control of the game.
Well,
and
I mean,
really backs against the wall.
Both teams do have an Infernal, so it's not the worst thing. But Drowsy does hit. Oh my god.
Oh my god, he survives though, unstoppable. And the Krug being there,
Not for
but
long.
not for long. He goes down. Remy actually flashes in. He's trying to get the damage down. Looks like he does have the dash target. He will be able to get some down. The flash is forced away. Drew Dozer does survive at least for a little bit longer. And in a losing game, hey, that's a win.
Yeah, no, a little bit, but I mean, Oh, geez, this is just going from bad to worse. Rift Herald being spawned up in the mid lane. They're trying to crack multiple turrets here. Bot lane tower starting to get hammered on. Mid lane tower is going to go down here. There's not much that First Blood can do here. That's going to be the second tower of the game going down. They're pushing towards that mid T2. Top lane tower is also getting low as well. So overall,
oh, here we go. Last breath underneath the tower. Drudozer will use that stopwatch to stall for time. Final chapter is going to be burnt. Remy surviving for just a little bit longer. This wind wall is good, and Spooky is now in a bad spot. Learning Ring coming from decide to try and trade back. He's not very tanky, though. We've seen it before. Rourke gets the stun into the tower. He's trying to survive with the Triumph, but it's not going to be enough. And now Wolf Skull Rider is in. Wolf Skull Rider will take him down. Pick up some gold remaining, and that's a relatively even trade given everything that has happened.
I mean, it's still a, 5v2, and they still picked up 3 kills. Plus, that's going to be the tower in the top lane. Plus, that was the tower in the bot lane going down. I'm definitely going to have to call Worth for the side of Dawn, as now that gold lead is almost at 10k, sitting at 9.5 right now.
Yeah, definitely a terrible place to be in. And First Blood, I think their composition wasn't necessarily the worst thing in the world to draft. You had a bunch of winning lanes, you had a bunch of advantages, but just the early game did not go the way they wanted it to. And that's the biggest difference I think we're seeing here, is the early game composition just didn't really pan out.
I mean, absolutely. The Jace getting just dumped on. I mean, I guess we can just say that he got dumped on. Like
100%.
Like, this is just turning into a fiesta right now. Even the Olaf can't fight Remy here. They're gonna try.
1v2, Remy is gonna get the win wall, but it doesn't even matter. The Yasuo actually dies immediately. He gives up even more shutdown gold here. And Remy starting to look maybe a little bit like the Yasuos that I normally have in my games, where they start dying a lot. So, you know, there's always hope as long as the Yasuo's there, right?
No, I mean, look, the only way that First Blood comes back is if Dawn give up a bunch of kills, give up the towers, which, I mean, top tower will most likely fall here. That it's so low, it has to fall within the next. So, it's not the worst thing to happen. Yes, you're still down 9k gold. Yes, you're probably going to be down a second Infernal, because obviously this game there has to be 3 Infernals. We saw 3 Oceans last game. So right now it's a pretty scary situation for First Blood. But if Sivir can get to the point where she's sitting at 3 items, she should be okay. What I don't like is that Learning Brain is going damage. He has Kindle Gem as well as Warrior right now. Just very questionable.
But it doesn't matter. The tornado is going to be enough. Remy picks that one up. The Wish is there to help him as well. And 1v2, First Blood commit all the way underneath the tower, and they get punished for it big time. Now the Drowsy's on Drudozer. He does have the cleanse to keep himself to safety. 26 taking a bunch of damage. He will survive for just a little bit longer. Drudozer is going to go down, and now the Yumi is all by herself. Is able to dash in order to stay alive, but Dawn getting everything they want, and here they come mid lane, 4 men strong.
Yeah, remember when I said that First Blood was coming back just a little bit? Yeah, I lied. They threw their lead completely back towards Dawn. Like, I don't know why they're trying to fight a Yasuo who's 2 items right now, when you guys are barely at, 1.5. There's just no point. You have Tabaz, sure, but this Yasuo has 100% crit chance.
Here we go, round 2. 3 men on the top side. No, learn their lessons.
Please don't go for it. Like, this game is definitely the Remy show right now. 10, 3, and 4, sitting on a lot of gold. He is just a monster right now. Most likely going to... Okay, so he's going to go the Frozen Mallet build, which, isn't the worst thing. If they're going to be sending 3 people towards him, you want to be a little bit more tanky. Eventually, he's going to get that BT as well. That or Death Stance, and be doing quite a bit in the split push. Learning Brain trying to find a pick onto someone here. Might find it onto Ezreal.
Learning Brain and Wolf Skull Rider pairing up quite a bit here, always hovering around the top side, trying to make something happen. They will get spotted out on that blue trinket and have to back away, but game slowing down a little bit here as the resets do come through here for Dawn. Actually, here we go, freeze.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Barely getting through the last points of damage. Another redemption will come through for T26 to keep him alive. Now another drowsy does land.
Oh, not like this.
Try and get it around Learning Brain. It is body block. Rourke is around the corner. Here comes the ultimate onto an unstoppable Olaf, though. Can't get anything, but the damage does come through. Freeze is going to pick that one up here. And all of a sudden, that's 2 picks. Baron's on the table, and I see no reason why Dawn can't take that.
Yeah, I mean, even without Yasuo, you do have the Ezreal damage, you do have the Zoe damage behind it, so this is most likely just going to be the free Baron. But Jesus, what is Freeze's damage? Like, hello? This is why we love Zoe as a champion, you know? She hits her E, she's like, alright, well, you just die, I guess. Like, I used my W as well, now I do an extra, 500 damage. So, that's just a free kill onto Syndra, free kill onto Jace, and that's going to be a free Baron going over to Dawn Esports. Oh, well,
that's the wrong button there. Whoops. Now, Baron does go over, though, and at this point, I think First Blood Crusade really need to be looking to get their last buys in and prepare for what could be the last couple of fights here, as I don't know exactly what they're going to do unless they can find a pick here, potentially onto the Ezreal or onto another member of the team, and try to do anything they can to stall this game out.
I mean, can you really stall this game out, though? 12k gold lead. I mean, I know we like to view everything in a positive light.
Oh, but here we go. Kanki doesn't get stunned up. He is going to get the Mystic Shot from around the wall. T26 trying to save him. Wish comes through, and Olaf just died. Brudozer now all by himself. Teleport comes through from Rennie. He's trying to find the dashes in. Brudozer does get out thanks to the Zoomy. CP freeze, though. He gets the Drowsy over the wall. Last Breath is going to be channeled, and here we go. T26 picks that one up, though. Rennie's in the middle of the fight. He will survive thanks to the Sterix gauge he just now finished. He's still trying to trade the damage back. Spooky takes a whole bunch. Ezreal goes over the wall along with Freeze. Freeze picks that one up. Now Wolf Skull Rider is the one going to be running away. He's forced to flash away from the Paddle Star here. Synaptic barely keeping him alive for just a little bit longer. And here they go. They're taking everything. The ace is picked up. Learning Brain is respawning, but it doesn't even matter. Inhibitors are falling across the board, and Dawn might just look to end the game right here, right now.
Yeah, no, the game ends here. There's just nothing that Dawn can do. Oh my god. There's nothing that First Blood can do, is what I mean to say. Sweet Jesus, excuse me? Zoe doing some damage. Hello?
Zoe's pulling it out. They're tower diving because they don't even care. We'll end the game eventually at some point. There we go. Last tower falls. Nexus should be the one under fire here, but they don't want to get a couple more kills. Yumi goes down. Syndra goes down.
Remy just put it on a clinic here. I know, they're just trying to pad the KDA just a little bit. Double kill over. 10-1-8 on the Ezreal. 12-3-8 on the Yasuo. Just a clean victory coming out from the Dawn Esports. First Blood, they just got ran over. But like, here's the thing, right? You win game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion. If you're gonna lose game 2, just get smashed, right? Because there's not much to think about. Okay, you lost top early, the jungle didn't do well, and because of that, mid, bot, we all fed because of it. That's just the game. Whatever. You go rethink the draft, maybe a different jungler, maybe a different top lane pick for Wolf Skull Rider, and you just go from there. If it was a slow game and you made macro mistakes, then you have more to look at. But this game, you really just got smashed 1v1 and 2v2, and that's how this game ended.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. Like you said, that was every lane lost. Every lane did badly in their own positions, and that just kind of snowballed to a win against these champions that really can run away with leads. So we'll have to see how First Blood Crusade can change things up, maybe get a bit of a better draft, maybe get some better pathing on Learning Brain as we go into game 3 here, though. We will be hopping into a quick intermission. When we come back, though, that game 3 will be going live, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in Champ Select for Game 3 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade. And after an absolute drubbing, First Blood Crusade are going to have to make some major changes in their draft if they want to take this one home.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it was interesting to see First Blood and how they drafted and how they picked. They picked up the NA Jace, and we saw why it's called NA Jace. The Olaf decided to build AD, which is very questionable. And I mean, we look at the picks and bans, same thing, respect bans coming out with the rise in Aatrox. Yes, Suo now being part of First Blood's respect bans. But Dawn just going to pick up the Sejuani outright, having a really good game on it last game that Rorik was able to put on some pressure. But Irelia does get through. Now Wolf Skull Rider on that first game champion again. Going to get the Irelia, but not going to have the synergy with Sejuani.
Yeah, but did do a very good job of containing the Aatrox in game 1, and now that he knows he won't be against the Yasuo, has that option. The Sivir, though, will be First Blood Crusade's next pick. Like you said, best AD carry in the game, and they will have it one more time this series. And let's see what Dawn wants to answer with.
Yeah, I mean, now we know that Conky doesn't need, per se, the Sivir. So, the Yuumi going to be picked up here for Dawn. It's a really good pick. Maybe not into the Sivir, but still overall a good pick. And okay, the Akali making its appearance, finally coming out. That might be going towards Remy here. That he has been playing quite a bit of Akali. So we'll have to see, but that's definitely a big flex pick coming out.
Yeah, huge pickup there. Should be quite good, but interesting that they went for the solo lane pickup so early in First Blood. Decide they don't want to answer with a jungler just yet. Instead, go for the Thresh, which, as we know, is a huge power pick for the bottom lane. And it goes straight into the ban phase, says, no, Ezreal, we don't want you on that champion.
Yeah, just an instant Ezreal ban. No hesitation about it. My God. It's just, whew. Olaf being taken off, which is kind of questionable because Olaf got dumpstered last game by the Sejuani, so I think it's kind of a waste of a ban. Lucian also taken off the table. Dawn not going to be able to play it. So Kaisa is still available for Dawn. So that will most likely be their ADC, that or Caitlyn.
Yeah, can definitely pivot either way. The Caitlyn would give them a lot of poke down the bottom side if they chose to do it. But did want to go back and touch on the Olaf because, as you said, a bit of a wasted ban. I don't think it was that good in the previous game. Maybe didn't have to ban it out, but they will join that with a Kennen ban as well and back over to First Blood Crusade for what they want first out of this draft.
No, I mean, yeah, it's very much a wasted ban. I don't like it. They could have definitely banned a lot of different things, but Skarner gonna come out against the Sejuani. Okay, if you can get the pick onto the Akali, or even if you catch Yuumi out, it's a free kill. So we'll have to see, but it definitely points me now towards a Kaisa lock-in or even a Caitlyn lock-in. Every other ADC kind of seems a little bit questionable to pick into a Skarner and a Thresh. Xayah, another good champion.
Ooh.
Okay. So Xayah Yuumi is a lot of poke and a lot of damage coming out. Going to be able to use the Featherstorm to get out of a lot of pressure that is probably going to be created by the side of First Blood.
Yeah, going to be a difficult lane to gank for sure. Xayah, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And the Jace is actually going to be locked in for Dawn. No Yasuo available this time around to smash him in lane, but as we saw, really didn't work in the last game. Dawn, though, saying, we're going to try our hand at this. Remy, you smashed in the last game. You can smash in this game on the Jace. So now throwing it back over to First Blood Crusade. They probably will be following this up here with a mid lane pick, but the advantage of the Jace pick here is where is it going? Could go to top, could go to the mid lane. You can flex that Akali around. But Azir is available, and First Blood Crusade say, we'll take it.
Just looking at these teams, hopefully this is an EU Jace, not an NA Jace, because yikers. But I don't know. The Azir, good pickup. We saw its power the first game on Freeze, but took the wrong rune, didn't really have the team to back him up. But the Azir was still a very strong pick. So we'll have to see what happens there. First Blood does have a lot of pick potential with the Death Sentence, with the Skarner ult, as well as the Azir Shurima shuffle into Emperor's Divide. You know, you also have Sivir backing them up as well with the ultimate. So a lot can come out. But the thing is, for Dawn, they have so much disengage. The perfect execution coming out from Akali with the Shroud, the Featherstorm from Xayah, the final chapter from Yuumi, the ult from Sejuani. Like, both teams have an idea of what they want to do, but both of them can counter each other. So it's very interesting to see, you know, such good teams coming out for both sides.
Yeah, I do think this is the best draft both of these teams have put together so far this series. First Blood Crusade, with much less of a team that's reliant on winning the early game, do have the ability to scale up. They have reliable picks. They have people who can do their jobs and do them well in team fights. Dawn, meanwhile, the Jace, I think, is the biggest question mark for me in the draft. Obviously, maybe I'm a little bit biased because of what happened to him in the last game, but we'll have to see if Remy can execute on it better, and that can certainly pop off in the right circumstances. And given that Dawn has a lot of other supporting characters to really prop up a team member that's doing poorly, this could be an opportunity for this pick to shine.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, another thing that I want to touch on is the Xayah, right? And we've started to see her come back more and more, right? The W buffs did help quite a bit, more than I personally thought that it would. But apparently, you know, with the nerfs to other ADCs, she started to shine in the meta quite a bit. And I mean, the thing is, if she can get ahead, it's a really good pick. But again, you're still facing the best ADC in the game in Sivir. So if Kanki can get ahead with the Xayah, perfect. If he gets behind, though, it's going to spill a lot of troubles for the side of Donnie.
Yeah, it could be a difficult proposition there in the bottom side, but does bring at least a little bit of utility, a little bit of team fighting potential. So can give something to the team from behind here. And we do want to highlight here as well that is going to be the Akali topside, Jace middle. So matchups now maybe looking a little bit, I would say a little bit more in favor of First Blood Crusade.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would have expected the Jace top lane face off against the Irelia. But now you have Freeze on the Jace against the Azir, and it becomes a bit more difficult. It really does depend what Dudozer takes as a rune. If he takes Lethal Tempo, he's going to poke the hell out of Freeze. It's not going to be a fun time. And Freeze going with the Ignite, very ballsy summoner spells here coming out from him, that he just wants to fight. And I mean, I don't know how that will really go for him overall.
Well, there's always the potential that Rourke will be hovering around these solo lanes, leaving Kanki and T26 down on the bottom side just to do their farming, do their due diligence. They know they're going to be pushed in, and instead support the solo lanes, get Freeze ahead, get Remy ahead, and those are the kind of characters where, like you saw in the last game, they're the players that if they pop off hard, and they will hard carry the game. So definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do, but we will be hopping into a brief intermission before game 3. Before that, however, I would like to take a brief moment to plug Midwest Esports. They've been around for many years and started as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer of tournaments and events throughout the U.S. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, and Overwatch as well. For more information, check them out at midwestesports.com. We will see you after the brief delay once we get into Game 3 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 3 of Dawn Esports versus First Blood Crusade here, and already looking like we've got some shenanigans coming out. The 5-man stack for First Blood Crusade, and have to see what they can do. Looks like their absolute drubbing the last game has not cost them their mental.
Yeah, no. I mean, they have a lot of level 1 CC with the Skarner, with the Thresh. So this could result in something. Freeze just going to use his ultimate to get the movement speed and get the hell out of there. Doesn't have the cleanse, so he's just going to have to walk it out.
Yeah, knows that there's a threat coming. Unfortunately, they do see it, but there is going to be a ward placed there on the red buff. They will be able to track Rourke a little bit, and they will know if he goes for the early recall like he did in the 2 previous games. So this could be an opportunity for more counter jungling by Learning Brain. But besides that ward, a very quiet start.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the Shrine in control for Rourke. So that top scuttle will take a bit longer for Learning Brain if he does path towards it. Good poke there coming out from T26. But Conky also taking the poke from the Sivir. But that'll just get healed up in lane because Yumi's a fun character. And see, this is the poke of Jace here. This might just be the EU Jace that we've been looking for. Starting the Corrupting Potion, which is different from how Wolf Skull Rider played it last time.
Yeah, definitely trying a different kind of build here. And both these teams, you always notice in game 3s, a lot of times teams really lever things back and try to play safe, saying, you know, oh, well, this is the last game, you know, we have to win this, we have to play nicely. But these teams really not showing any of that hesitancy, saying, we know we're going to be going into this and we're just going to try and smash. So lots of aggression here throughout the map.
And something that I noticed is that Akali went Conquer, which is very interesting to say the least. Most of the time you see the Akalis either take Fleet Footwork or take Electrocute with Time Warp Tonic and Biscuits. You know, but I mean, to see Conqueror is very interesting, and it might cost her when you get into those team fights that, yes, you can proc it, but, you know, how useful will it be overall in comparison to something like Fleet Footwork or Electric?
Now, it does give her a lot of sustained damage in the lane, so will be better in slightly longer trades, but Aurelia, so much sustained damage, probably one of the best champions at doing that, especially in lane, so maybe not the best decision, but we'll have to see how Remy can handle it. Did play quite well in the previous game, and there you go.
Just good trades coming out overall.
Oh, Shuriken Flip landed, Remy will pull it in, gets first blood there, picking it up, no problem, and we were just talking about it. Conquer Akali, tell your friends.
I mean, when Wolf Skull Rider just kind of sits there and allows for Remy to hit every Q plus the passive auto attack, I mean, you're going to lose that fight every single time. I don't really know what he was expecting there. Whether that was Conquer Akali, Electrocute Akali, Fleet Footwork Akali, you're still going to die when you eat 4 Qs and then as the Shuriken Flip. Like, you're asking to lose.
Champions die when they take damage, as it turns out. Who knew?
Yeah, wow, who would have thought, right?
Well, either way, that is going to be first blood here picked up for Dawn Esports, and that, I think, is the first time they've actually secured the first blood here for themselves. No, they did get it in the previous game, so already strong showing.
Yeah, no, good signs coming out from Dawn. But now the big question is, what are the junglers going to do? Learning Brain already has the Predator boots, still waiting on that cooldown right now to come back up. But once he gets those, that's when the ganks really start to shine. And he's going to have a bit of a more early game presence than Rourke here. So he's going to have to push that advantage. Freeze does not have cleanse. No respect shown towards Learning Brain and the fact that he does have that point and click CC. So definitely looks like a good target. Remy a bit more difficult because of the Shroud. And with that Shuriken Flip, it becomes more difficult. Spooky.
Ganky trying to trade back down. Looks like the Lantern will be enough. Blade Caller won't come up with anything. But definitely looking for Learning Brain to have a big game. He did not have that great of a performance in the previous match, and now really trying to improve and be the carry for his team, get his team going up ahead.
And I mean, we're starting to see Freeze put on a clinic
Actually,
here.
Ignite is going to come down. The Cleanse and the Flash will both be forced out of Gerudozer. Jace is definitely doing better in this game than he did in the previous one.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this matchup is kind of difficult. That without the Emperor's Divide, Jace can just simply queue forward, and there's nothing that Gerudozer can do. Even if he Shuriva shuffles away, you know, he's still going to take quite a bit of damage regardless.
So a tricky matchup, and Freeze showing how this champion can be played when it's not into the Yasuo. As we do have Learning Brain here, making that early invasion into the top side, trying to check around, but already mostly cleaned out by Rourke, so wasting a lot of time. And that Sejuani will still be able to just get the farm up and try to get the equalized levels here.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, Sejuani will be a bit more impactful than Skarner as a champion. So it's okay for Rourke just to sit here and farm up, but he is looking towards that bot side. Tribush is in their favor, so they can try to look for something here. So we see Wolf Skull Rider just pushing into the Akali over and over again.
Yeah, really trying to deny CS. Remy not able to just take whatever fight he wants with the Aurelia, even after getting the first blood, but only 10 CS down, picking up a lot of that, so not doing too badly.
Sejuani is in that bot side. They should know that she's there. They do ping it. So she is just going to get the back off. Wolf Skull Rider, though, running out of mana here, though.
Might be looking for the play, as actually perfect execution is going to be used. That's the first charge. Goes for the second dash as well. The flash is used by Wolf Skull Rider, but he stops moving, and Remy takes the solo kill. Makes it look easy.
Questionable there coming out from Wolf Skull Rider. Great job by Remy. Knowing that Wolf did not have the mana to continue doing anything. Now doesn't have TP either. That's just going to be a free push in the top lane. And we see just the pressure that Thresh Sivir has against Xayah Yuumi. And this is kind of how you deal with Yuumi. You play aggressive, you position aggressive. And if they ever miss position, it kind of just becomes a free kill.
And speaking of free kill, though, here we go. Gerudozer baiting into the bush. Here comes Predator, burn from Learning Brain. He is going to drag the Jace all the way underneath the tower. Shuriva shuffle as well.
Flash.
But the flash is going to be used to get him to safety. Now Learning Brain gets stunned up. Learning Brain takes the damage, but it looks like the Skarner will crawl himself to safety at the end of the day. A great turnaround, great timing by Rourke.
Yeah, no, I mean, great job there by Freeze. Ends up flashing over the Emperor's Divide before it connects to him, so he doesn't get pushed back into the tower. And I mean, overall, just excellent job. Learning Brain trying to use everything onto Freeze, but it just doesn't matter. He's playing insane right now. Definitely an improvement over these 3 games coming out from Freeze. And just now putting on a clinic, sitting at 1-0, sitting up CS against Azir. This is not looking good right now for First Blood.
First Blood Crusade not having the early game they'd like, but only about 1,000 gold separates these two teams here. And First Blood Crusade do always have the 500 CS Sivir win condition. They have the Azir scaling up, and with the towers not quite falling yet, this is a much slower game than the previous. You still have time to try and farm, try and scale.
Now, definitely interesting coming out from Wolf Skull here. He's going with the Wit's End first item, which I mean is good for your lane, but kind of not so good for the game. You do have 2 big AD threats. Remy does a lot of AD damage. Sonotic is up here.
Sonotic is here. Remy's trying to get the run away. That is going to be the land, but it looks like the ultimate is going to be used. A great flash in is going to force out Remy's flash as well, but Sonotic ends up getting nothing for his trouble but the summoner spell.
Yeah, I mean, not the worst trade in the world. Sonotic back up here again, trying his luck. Dragon is started on the bot side, though, going over towards First Blood. And it is yet another Infernal Drain. Or no, Cloud Drain. I saw the red for a second, and I'm like, oh, it's a It's an Infernal, but no, it was just the red ward over there. But
just regular red ward, as actually here comes the collapse on a Freeze. The hook is there, the Impale is there, the Emperor's Divide is there, but Freeze isn't dead quite yet. He will eventually go down, but that's a lot of CC all getting eaten up, and the Jace finally does go down.
Yeah, definitely interesting interactions there. The Skarnerl into the Emperor's Divide, you know, pushing Jace all around, but still, good kill there. Does pick off the overextended Jace, and now you're putting kills onto the Azir. He is your mid to late game carry that you need him to be doing stuff. Plates do go over to him for free, and now you are trying to equalize the game. That even though the kill lead is 3-1 in favor of Dawn, gold lead is still equalized right now.
Guys, actually, here we go. Sonatic is still on the top side of the map. He's trying to get Remy outside of the Shroud. The hook is going to land. The Shroud is going to wear off Remy, looking to try and escape. Shuriken Flip is there, but he doesn't have Perfect Execution available. And Wolf Rider will pick up the shutdown gold on there. And now, meanwhile, Rourke in a bad situation, forced to dash over the wall here as Kanki and T26 continue to hammer away at this tower. A lot of attention by Sonatic on the top side, but it does mean they will be giving up some pressure down here.
No, definitely. I mean, Sonatic kind of just...
Oh, actually, Final Chapter is going to be used as well as Glacial Prison, but both are going to miss. The flash from Learning Brain gets him to safety.
But again, Sonatic spent a lot of time in that top lane. Xayah a bit overextended here, doesn't really have vision of anyone else. But speaking of overextended, Freeze, that's not where you want to be.
Now, once again, visiting the mid lane, but Learning Brain is just going to die to him. Turns around, now Rourke is there. The Lantern will be used by Sonatic to get Drew Dozer to safety as Teleport is channeled as well. Kanki bringing the party to the mid lane here, and now there's going to be a 4-man push.
Yeah, no, at less than half HP, Learning Brain just kind of ran it there. I don't really know what else to say. Now the Jace sitting at 2-1, definitely looking like an EU Jace, not an NA Jace this game. So it's definitely something to be concerned about.
Yeah, but the Jace is going to fall off as the game progresses. He does have the Duskblade already, so that's going to give him a lot of potential to pick someone off, but he will eventually spike, and here comes Sonatic again. He actually stuffs the Perfect Execution over the wall here. Sun is going to come through. Remy's going to be forced to use the Shuriken Flip and the second half of the ultimate in order to get himself to safety. Sonatic, are you a top laner or are you support, man? He's always there.
I know, he's just, he's kind of Netflix and chilling up there, to be honest with you. Doesn't really care about anything else going on. But the Akali's still sitting at 2-1. Same thing with the Jace. So this is really good still for Dawn. But again, they still have the gold lead, but they still have the kill lead. But the gold lead is in favor of First Blood right now.
First Blood have been doing a good job of staying farmed up, of getting these picks here. Learning Brain actually is going to keep chasing on Rourke, who's forced to run away here, but First Blood, this is such a better performance than they've already done in the previous game, and they're really showing that they have the ability to stall this game out and get to their power spikes. They don't have to play that early game aggression.
Yeah, no. Okay, speaking of early game aggression.
Yeah, T26 comes top lane. Flash is again used to get away from the final chapter. The Summer Spell blown, but T26 paying his visit to the top lane, getting nothing besides.
Yeah, no, but I mean, plates are still going in favor of First Blood Crusaders here. And I mean, this is where their gold lead mostly is stemming from, the fact that they're just getting these plates. No plates taken in the top lane, even though 3 were taken in the mid lane. More were taken in the bot lane as well. Good hook!
Oh, here we go. Hook onto Kanki. He is going to just try and trade it back. He's still sitting on top of the Feather Dance, but it looks like he will eventually go down. Does not see the damage coming through from Drew Dozer. On the side, I wanted to highlight as well, Rourke dashed and used the ultimate to stop the Herald from being summoned. So did stuff that, but they still give up a kill.
But I don't know why Kanki just didn't use Feather Storm. Very questionable there. Freeze, not in the best position here.
Yeah, Freeze is going to get hooked up. He is going to get stunned up. He's trying to knock away. He actually got the knockback into the Flash. He's trying to run for his life using the movement speed. Looks like Rourke is in. Rourke is looking to try and save his mid laner here. As he gets impaled, he gets dragged back. Learning Brain is still alive, and CP Freeze now trying to trade back the damage on the Spooky Girl. Spooky will go down.
Still alive.
Finish off the kill. Teleport is channeled. That will be picking up the kill as Wolf Skull Rider. T26 now all by himself. There's no way to survive that. A triple kill picked up for Wolf Skull Rider. First tower fell in the mid lane, and First Blood and Crusade are popping off this game.
Yeah, no, now they come back. Great teleport there, play coming out from Wolf Skull Rider. And this is the, difference in timers from teleports. Remy still has about 20 seconds on her teleport, or on his teleport. But, I mean, great job there from First Blood. They're going to also get the dragon. And now that's 2 towers to none. And the gold lead out of nowhere is now at 3.5K.
All of a sudden, First Blood Crusade turning on. But CP Freeze, that's what, the third, fourth time he's been out of position, pushed up in a lane with multiple members of the enemy team missing, gets caught out and draws the rest of the team into his mistakes. Now, a great teleport play is what allowed First Blood Crusade ultimately to secure all those kills, but Freeze keeps being where he doesn't want to be.
And I mean, that's been his issue for most of this series, is just getting caught out. We saw that issue first game on the Azir, second game playing pretty well, not getting caught out as much, except for around that 24-minute mark. But then right now, he's sitting, he was, what, 2-1? Now he's 3-2. A lot of the gold lead going back over to First Blood, and that's not what you want to be doing, especially when they have such a good late game in that Sivir, Azir, Irelia, and Skarner.
And the Irelia looks like with all of that gold, we'll be able to start working on the Infinity.
Back to Freeze, though.
Freeze is caught out. Freeze is getting picked off. And that will be another kill. Now Remy's actually taking the kill onto Spooky Tanky, now trying to get away from Wolf Skull Rider, and he will take the shutdown. Sejuani ult not even needed. Kills across the map here as looks like Dawn's trying to show that they're not quite out yet, but here comes Remy, forced to flash away. They will settle themselves for that. So First Blood, again, finding picks.
Yeah, no, but then also getting picked off on the bot side. I mean, Spooky goes down, Wolf Skull Rider goes down. Those are big shutdowns going over to the side of Dawn, and equalizes the gold back just a little bit. Now only a 2K gold deficit instead of the 4K that it was just a second ago. So little by little, they're coming back. Xayah now sitting on 2 items, still waiting for Sivir to hit that point. She is down a lot of CS, and I mean, for the side of First Blood, they would be up quite a bit more gold if it wasn't for the fact that Sivir is down almost 2K gold to this Xayah right now. And this is where people tell you, CS is how you get out of low elo. I mean, just look at the CS difference. It really does translate into a gold lead in favor of Panic versus Spooky, but here we go.
Here we go. Trade's going to be done for the root and the stun. Learning Brain looks like he might be able to get himself out of safety. Last take of the Ignite, though, will take him down. T26 is going to pick that one up, and now Dawn have the numbers advantage here on the top side, and they will try to go for the push as Bulldozer tries to rotate up. Wolf Skull Rider, though, goes in too aggressively. Freeze blows him up. A Lantern, meanwhile, gets Spooky away from the final chapter. The tower will fall. Bulldozer is in. A Shuffle is going to push Rourke back. He flashes, but he is going to die anyways. And now Kanki trying to trade back whatever damage he can, but it's not enough. Standing in the soldiers, Bulldozer takes down a double kill. T26 as an afterthought. And Freeze, meanwhile, let the tower live in the mid lane, trying to rotate up, but he's not going to get anything for his time.
I mean, I don't really know what Dawn is doing here. That they're just getting picked over and over again. Freeze getting picked over and over again as well.
Yeah, speaking of Freeze getting picked, he's going to try and turn the damage down, but Spooky gets a great spell shield onto the To the Skies and takes no damage from a big part of Freeze's burst combo, so will survive. At the end of the day, Freeze, again, gets caught and dies. We sound like a broken record, but keeps happening.
Yeah, no, that's basically a 4-for-1 in favor of First Blood, plus the tower in the top lane. That puts the gold lead in favor for them yet again. But no, you're right. We do sound like a very broken record here, just talking about the fact that Dawn keeps getting caught out over and over and over again. It really doesn't make much sense. You have such a huge gold lead on the Xayah. You had a gold lead on the Jace, but getting caught out, 3 times in a row now puts the gold lead heavily in favor of First Blood Crusader.
First Blood Crusade have shown that they have the ability to set these picks up, and they have the ability to force these fights as well. Skarner now, with the Righteous Glory built up as well as the Predator, going to be very fast and easily able to find you if you're out of position, even for a moment. But starting to slow the game down a little bit here. Take your time now that all the outer towers are gone.
Well, the thing is, right, Drew Dozer was kind of getting dumped on, in this early game. Now sitting at around a 1,500 gold lead in his favor versus the Jace. So this is just not a good time for Freeze. He had such a massive lead, but right now it's just turning into rubble.
Dawn now, Wilby's trying to set up around this Drake. They do have a warded, just an Ocean Drake though, so not a lot of reason to go for it, but looks like this will be a potential team fight here. Everyone is grouped as 5. Maybe pinned a little bit against the wall. We'll try to turn on Sonicus. Here comes the box. The hook is going to land. They're going to go all the way on a Kanky. He's going to pop the over with the snail life for just a little longer, but he does go down. Remy isn't trying to get in the backside, but he is taking way too much damage. The Sivir died. T26 goes down. Freeze is all on his own. Learning Brain, though, is way too fast. Freeze looking to try and trade some damage back, but it doesn't matter. That is going to be a clean ace picked up here. Triple kill for Wolf Skull Rider, and First Blood Crusade runs straight to the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, again, broken record. Getting caught out again, going for a dragon, that doesn't really mean much of anything. And that's just going to be the free Baron going over to First Blood Crusade. Now that gold lead is going to skyrocket to almost 6k, 7k probably after this Baron's taken. And if you are Dawn, oh man, it's kind of the same story over and over and over again in the fact that, you win that second game, but now you're just getting smacked around in the third game.
Yeah, Dawn got themselves pinned up against that wall by the Dragon Pit and had to try and commit to a fight, and unfortunately they went onto a tanky member of the team and couldn't pull it out. So now, staring up against the Baron buff, gonna have to try and wave clear this out with just a Xayah and a Jace to do it.
And no. I mean, even though Akali is 4-2, it doesn't really mean much of anything this game, and it kind of just sucks if you are Remy. Yet again, you get ahead, but I mean, it doesn't really mean much of anything this game. There's just so much to stop you, and you really needed CP Freeze to be doing work this game, but instead, he drops his lead from going from 3-1 now to 4-5.
Yeah, not the kind of performance we want to see. Is First Blood Crusade are going to spend a lot of time really trying to set this up. They've actually found Remy down there in the bottom side. The Predator is on, but looks like Learning Brain will settle for just forcing them to run away. It's actually Hook's going to land onto the AD carry. Drew Dozer goes down. Sorry, Drew Dozer picks up the kill and goes legendary. Another Hook is going to miss from Sonotic as well as stun. Learning Brain, though, is on the hunt. The Impale is there. The damage is not going to be quite there on Rourke. He's very tanky, but he does die. And now a hook onto Remy. Remy dies under the tower, and all of a sudden, First Blood Crusade go up 3 kills to nothing, and they're going to be pushing this all the way in.
8k gold lead now heavily in favor of First Blood Crusade. That's going to be the base correct. Wolf Skull Rider having to flash out of the turret. Oh my god, what a memer.
But I mean, does have the teleport, so it can't come back, as they will try to end the game here, actually. Learning Brain looking for something underneath the tower. Respawns are coming through. Teleport comes out as well. The final tower is under aggression here. Jace on the flank. He's looking for the play. Play has already been used, so nothing to stop the Jace from jumping in. Looks like he will be forced out by the Azir soldier. And as here comes Rourke, he's trying to pull back. The Lantern is there for Learning Brain. They're trying to trade onto him. He will die. Spooky takes that kill. Freeze on the backside, though. He's going to get zoned out by the Thresh, who might take the solo kill. Yes, he will. Last chapter won't get anything. Remy's on the backside, but he has nothing. Another ace on the back of the first one gets picked up by First Blood Crusade, and that has to be the series. First Blood Crusade takes down Dawn Esports, and they will take the victory.
Yeah, I mean, bit of a shaky start in the beginning, giving up 3 kills early. But I mean, with the amount of times that Dawn Esports get caught out, it's just a pretty easy victory at the end of the day for the side of First Blood Crusaders. Their first series in the UPL results in a victory.
Yeah, you have to feel good about that, especially after getting drubbed so hard in game two. I mean, that was a 22-minute game, I want to say, just such a short match. And you were on the losing end of the whole thing. And now all of a sudden to come back from that into game three, give up the early kills, but have the mental fortitude to come back around is huge. So definitely a masterful performance there by First Blood Crusade.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, though both teams are getting caught out for the most part throughout the game, it really did fall on Freeze getting caught out, what, 4 different times in a row that just cost them the game. He had such a massive gold lead on Drew Dozer, but it ends up the opposite way. Drew Dozer up 4K gold on his lane opponent to end the game. Every single lane was up gold. And it's simply due to the fact that First Blood just fought better than them. They were always the one to engage with Learning Brain, and it was never the other way around. Zaya just never using Featherstorm, and it was just not a good time for the side of Donnie's.
Yeah, not indeed. They will have to find their way in to get their first win next week as opposed to this week. So rather unfortunate, but congratulations to First Blood Crusade on taking their first win of the UPL. That is going to be it for us tonight on the cast. Thank you all so very much for watching. We will be back at a later date, and thank you for tuning in. Have a nice night.